The coffee cup slips from my hands and explodes across the kitchen floor in a spray of ceramic and dark liquid. But I barely notice. My son's words have frozen me in place, more shocking than any broken dish could ever be. "Mom, we need to talk. I found something." I turn slowly to face Nathan, standing in the doorway with shoulders hunched and eyes red from crying. He's 26 now, but in this moment, he looks like the frightened boy who couldn't understand why his father never came home from the hospital. "What is it, sweetheart?" I ask, my voice steadier than I feel. He doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he runs his hand through his hair in that familiar gesture that makes my heart ache. It's exactly what Thomas used to do when he was troubled. Nathan sinks onto one of the kitchen stools. "I've been trying to deal with this on my own for weeks, but I can't anymore. I need to show you something." My pulse quickens. "Show me what?" He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a yellowed envelope, creased from being handled repeatedly. "I found this in the garage, hidden in Dad's old toolbox. It's addressed to you." The room tilts slightly. I'd sorted through every corner of that garage after Thomas died 3 years ago, cataloging our life together through dusty boxes and forgotten projects. How could I have missed this? "How long have you had it?" I ask, steadying myself against the counter. 2 weeks, he admits, his voice cracking. "I wasn't sure if I should give it to you. I didn't know if it would help or make everything worse." We sit in silence, the only sound the soft whir of the refrigerator. Outside, morning light streams through the window, indifferent to the earthquake happening in my kitchen. "Why now?" I finally ask. He meets my eyes, and I see the same grief I carry reflected back at me. "Because I'm drowning, Mom, and I think maybe this letter holds something we both need to finally move forward." My hands tremble as I take the envelope from him. The handwriting is unmistakably Thomas's, those neat, careful letters I'd recognize anywhere. My name, Vivian, written in fading ink that somehow still carries warmth. "I can't open it yet, not right now." "That's okay," Nathan says gently. "When you're ready, I'll be here." The word "together" hangs unspoken between us, a lifeline we're both clinging to. Part 2, Memories in the Walls. That afternoon, I wander through our house with the envelope in my pocket, feeling its weight like a secret trying to surface. Every room whispers Thomas's name. The scuff mark on the doorframe where we moved his grandmother's bookcase. The faded water ring on the end table from the night we forgot our drinks while dancing to old records. I find myself in his favorite armchair by the bay window, the leather worn smooth from years of his presence. The envelope sits in my lap like a locked door, and I'm not sure I'm ready for what's on the other side. As sunset paints the sky in shades of amber and rose, Nathan appears in the hallway. "Want me there when you open it?" he asks. I nod, "Please." We settle together on the couch, shoulder to shoulder. My fingers fumble with the seal until it finally gives way. The paper inside is thin, the ink slightly smudged in places. "My dearest Vivian, if you're reading this, it means I never found the courage to tell you what I should have said years ago. I know you'll take care of Nathan and keep him strong. But there's something both of you need to know about this house, something I kept hidden because I was afraid of how it might change everything." I pause, my throat tight. Nathan leans closer, reading over my shoulder. "This place was never just ours. There's a history here I never fully explained. Something unfinished. You'll discover it eventually. You'll know when you see her name." The letter ends there, leaving us with more questions than answers. "Her name," Nathan whispers. "Whose name?" I turn the envelope over, and there, in faint pencil on the back, almost invisible in the dimming light, is a single word: Isabella. My heart stops. "Do you recognize that name?" Nathan frowns, thinking. "Maybe. I think Dad mentioned someone named Isabella once, years ago. He said she was important to some project, but I was young and didn't pay attention." Isabella. The name echoes in my mind like a half-forgotten melody, beautiful and unsettling at the same time. Part 3, Uncovering the Past. The next morning, Nathan returns from the garage carrying a carved wooden box I've never seen before. "This was hidden behind Dad's workbench," he says, setting it on the kitchen table. Inside, we find a stack of photographs, some faded, others surprisingly clear. One makes me catch my breath, Thomas standing next to a woman with dark curly hair and a warm smile. On the back, in his handwriting, Isabella, 1996. That was 2 years before we met. Who is she? Nathan asks. I can't answer. Instead, I look more closely at the background of the photo: rough wooden beams, scattered tools, stacks of lumber. Is that this house? I whisper. Nathan nods slowly. I think so, but in the early stages of construction. We spend the entire day going through the box. There are architectural sketches, fabric samples, paint chips, all dated from before Thomas and I were married. But the real revelation comes when Nathan unrolls a blueprint from the bottom of the box. Plans for the Riverside Cottage, designed by Thomas Morrison and Isabella Chen. My hands shake. She co-designed this house. Nathan looks as stunned as I feel. But you and Dad always said you built this place together. I know what we said, I reply softly, but maybe that wasn't the complete truth. Part 4, Letters Never Sent. That night I can't sleep. I walk through the house with new eyes, seeing it differently now. The curved hallway I always loved, the window seat by the fireplace. The built-in bookshelves Thomas claimed he'd improvised. Were these Isabella's ideas, her vision? I feel like a stranger in my own home. The next day, Nathan makes another discovery: a metal lockbox hidden beneath loose floorboards in the garage. Inside are letters, all addressed to Isabella, all unsent. I read them with my heart breaking. Dear Isabella, I wish I could explain why I abandoned our plans. You deserved better than my silence. Dear Isabella, this house carries your touch in every beam and window. I'm sorry I couldn't finish it the way you imagined. Dear Isabella, I've met someone who makes me believe in new beginnings, but I'll always be grateful for what you taught me about building something beautiful. There's one more letter, sealed and addressed to Nathan, dated just days before Thomas died. Should I? Nathan asks hesitantly. Yes, I say, it's yours. He reads aloud, his voice breaking. Son, if I'm gone before I can say this properly, remember, real courage means being honest even when it's hard. I stayed silent too long. Speak up when you care, speak up when you're afraid, and if you're ever lost, look after your mother. She gave me more than I deserved. Tears stream down both our faces. But as Nathan folds the letter, another document slides out, a property deed listing 3 names: Thomas Morrison, Vivian Morrison, and Isabella Chen. Co-ownership, Nathan reads, signed before your marriage. The truth settles over me like cold water. Thomas hadn't just planned to build this house for Isabella, he'd actually shared ownership with her. When he brought me here, I was stepping into someone else's unfinished dream. Mom, did you know? Nathan asks gently. I shake my head, unable to speak. At the bottom of the deed in Thomas's handwriting are 2 words: forgive me. Part 5, Meeting Isabella. I don't know how I find the courage, but the next morning, Nathan and I drive to the address listed on the deed. The house sits at the end of a winding lane, surrounded by climbing roses and morning glory vines. Isabella is in the garden when we arrive. She's older now, silver threading through her dark hair, but I recognize her immediately from the photographs. She looks up as we approach, and there's no surprise in her eyes, only a kind of resigned understanding. I wondered when you'd come, she says quietly. We found the letters, I say, my voice steadier than I expected, and the deed. She nods, so it's all out in the open now. Why didn't he tell me? The question comes out more as a whisper than an accusation. Isabella gestures to a bench beneath an old oak tree. We sit, the 3 of us, surrounded by the scent of roses and earth. He was trying to protect everyone, she says finally. Me included. When Thomas and I first designed that house, we were partners, creative partners. We had plans to build it together, to make it something extraordinary. She pauses, her eyes distant with memory. But life doesn't always follow our blueprints. We had different visions for our futures. The relationship ended, but neither of us could let go of the house completely. It represented something unfinished between us. Then he met you, Vivian, she continues, turning to look at me directly. And I saw him become someone different, calmer, more settled. He'd found something with you that we never had, but he couldn't bring himself to remove my name from the deed. Not because he still loved me romantically, but because that house was our shared creation, and he couldn't erase that history. Nathan speaks up for the first time. Did he ever talk about me? Isabella smiles softly. All the time. He called you the bridge between two chapters of his life, proof that love doesn't have to destroy what came before in order to create something new. I feel tears building, but they're not tears of anger or betrayal. They're tears of understanding. He left this for you, Isabella says, handing me another envelope. He asked me to give it to you if you ever discovered the full story. My hands shake as I open it. Vivian, if you're reading this, you know everything now. I built that house for two women who each taught me something essential about love. Isabella showed me how to dream and create. You showed me how to make those dreams into a real home. The rooms might feel crowded with the past, but they're yours now, completely and forever. Fill them with whatever future you choose. Tell Nathan I kept my promise. I built something that could hold all the love in my heart, past, present, and future. Part 6, A New Beginning. When we return to the house, the afternoon sun is streaming through the windows, making everything glow with golden light. Nathan pauses in the entryway, watching dust motes dance in the beams. It feels different, he says softly. It is different, I agree. We see it clearly now. He turns to me, his expression open and vulnerable. What will you do with it? I look around at the space Thomas built, at the house that held 3 hearts in different seasons, the photographs on the walls, the furniture we chose together, the garden I've tended for years, and underneath it all, Isabella's original vision that made everything possible. Keep it, I say firmly, not as a museum to the past, but as a foundation for the future. Nathan smiles, really smiles for the first time in months. Dad would love that. We spend the afternoons sorting through the garage, organizing old plans and letters, handling each piece of history with care. As evening approaches, I find one last envelope tucked into the corner of the wooden box. It's addressed to whoever lives here next. I open it carefully. If you found this, take care of the garden. Those wildflowers have deep roots. They thrive when tended by someone who understands both loss and renewal. That's what this place is for, not to trap grief, but to transform it into something growing and alive. I smile through tears. He left wisdom for strangers, I whisper. He left pieces of himself everywhere, Nathan says, reading over my shoulder. We're standing there together when a breeze drifts through the open window, carrying the scent of roses from the garden. A single petal floats in and lands on the letter, pale pink and luminous. I look out at the sunset painting the sky in brilliant colors, and for the first time since Thomas died, I feel something shift inside me. Not the absence of grief, but the presence of something else alongside it. Gratitude, acceptance, hope. Thomas's love didn't disappear when he died. It transformed, flowing through this house, through Nathan and me, through every choice we make going forward. You okay, Mom? Nathan asks softly. I nod, truly meaning it. Better than I've been in a long time. The last rays of sunlight spill across the floor, illuminating the framed sketch on the wall, Isabella's original drawing of the house, the seed that grew into our home. And for just a moment, I swear I can feel Thomas's presence, not as a ghost haunting the past, but as a warm certainty that love never really ends. It just changes form, becoming the foundation for whatever comes next. Epilogue 3 months later. Spring has arrived, and with it, new life in the garden. Nathan and I have planted wildflowers where Thomas suggested, hardy perennials that will come back year after year, growing stronger with time. Isabella came to visit last week. We had tea in the sunroom, and I showed her the renovations I'm planning, small changes that honor the original design while making the space truly mine. He would approve, she said, smiling. This house was always meant to evolve. Nathan has moved back home temporarily, using Thomas's old workshop to build furniture. He's discovered a talent he didn't know he had, inherited from the father who taught him that creation is its own form of healing. Sometimes, late at night, I walk through the rooms and feel the layers of love that built this place. Isabella's vision, Thomas's craftsmanship, my years of making it a home, and now Nathan's presence bringing it forward into the future. We're planning a small gathering next month, friends, family, and yes, Isabella too. We'll celebrate not just Thomas's memory, but the strange and beautiful truth that love is big enough to hold complicated histories without breaking. The house that once felt haunted by secrets now feels full of light. Because we stopped being afraid of the past and learned to see it as part of a larger story, one that includes all of us, in all our imperfect humanity. And isn't that what home really means? Not a place without shadows, but a place where shadows and light can exist together, where every chapter matters, and where love finds a way to grow even from broken ground. Tonight, as stars emerge over the garden, I pour tea and sit in Thomas's old chair by the window. The letter is back in its envelope, but I've memorized every word. Nathan joins me, carrying two of his hand-carved bowls, beautiful in their simplicity. "For you," he says, handing me one, "first pieces from Dad's workshop." I hold it carefully, feeling the smooth wood warm under my fingers. It's perfect, not because it's flawless, but because it's made with love by someone who's learning to transform grief into grace. "Your father would be so proud," I tell him. "Of both of us," he says, and he's right. Outside, the wildflowers are beginning to bloom, their roots reaching deep into earth that remembers everything: the joy, the sorrow, the secrets, and the truth. They're growing in the space between what was and what will be, in the house that held three hearts and learned to beat as one. And in this moment, surrounded by evening light and the quiet presence of those I love, past and present, I finally understand what Thomas was trying to tell me all along. A house is just wood and nails until it's filled with stories. And stories, no matter how complicated, are what make a structure into a home.